Hey guys, it's Informatica, and today we're going to go over the piano again, the Battle Cry of Freedom sheet music. So just to go over some of the previous information, just want to go over some of the notes we learned in the previous video. So C is right below this one, which is D. C has a ledger line through it. It's right there. You can't see it right now, but it has a ledger line through it, which is this line, and it's right below this note, which is D. So this is D, and this is B, E, C, F, D, F, D, D, F, D, C, D, G, B, B, G, D, B, D, B. Now these are eighth notes, and we can tell that because there's a bar through them. Bar. This is a bar, so it's played less as long as this one, which is a quarter note. This has a dot in front of the eighth note. So that means that it's held just a little bit longer. This is a 16th note. We can see that because it's got two bars through it. That's played even less than an eighth note. And so we have, this is a pair of eighth notes, a dotted eighth, couple of quarter notes right here, a 16th note, which like I said is played less than the eighth note, quarter, quarter, eighth, eighth, quarter, 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 quarter. And so additionally, this is a little bit of trivia, but centuries ago, musicians used to refer to the treble and the bass clefs as the G clef, which would be the treble, and the F clef as the bass clef. They refer to these clefs because of the fancy lettering. So, for example, you can see that these have symbols. The symbols, this looks like a weird looking symbol, but back then this symbolized fancy looking G. Back then this symbolized the fancy looking F. If you can see that if these two dots were connected by a line, it would look a little bit like right there and right there. It looked like a really fancy F. Also, the note that this ball right here is on is F. This line right here is F. So if you ever want to know like what note this line represents, it's F because of that ball right there. This G right here, it's kind of like the intersection, so you can remember it that way. G is right here in the intersection. It's also right here in the hole. So the time signature is 4/4, which means, like I said, 4 beats per measure, and the quarter note is getting the beat. That being said, that means that, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have pair 1, 2. It's just distributed through the dotted 8th and the 16th. They equal 1 quarter note. 3, 4. 1, 2. And to make this match, there would either be 2 more eighth notes or 3 quarter notes, because one of these equals a quarter note. This is just the lineup. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, and then there's a bottom note here. Let's see if I can move it. So, okay, so here's the next measure. So we have 1, 2, and we have a half note here, which is equal to 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this stays true to the 4/4 time. Nope. Now this right here, this is the tempo. this means that the quarter note is going at a 94. So if you have like I can't think of it right now. A metronome. If you have a metronome, you got to set this to 94. And once you set this to 94, you'll be able to feel the beat of as you play through the piece, and when the next note, like you'll just feel the beat as you go through the piece, and it'll help you determine when the next note should be played. So we found out that first line. This is the last bar of the first line. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. This stays true to the 4 beats per measure, and the quarter note gets the beat. 1 quarter note, 2, 3, 4. These are quarter notes. They're just distributed. So we have the dotted eighth, the 16th, eighth, dotted eighth, and 16th note. Quarter, quarter, quarter. Like I said, they're just distributed. This gets held a little bit longer because of the dotted note. That's all it does. That's all the dot does. It just adds a little bit more time to the note. The 16th note gets played less than is held less than the 8th note. And this is 8th, 8th, dotted 8th, and 16th again. Again, we can tell why it's an 8th note because it's a bar. There's a bar there. We can tell this is a 16th note because there's 2 bars there. 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's 4 beats in that measure. Second line. So here we have we actually have some, I believe, lyrics. So this would be an example of like an alto, or like the line where a person would sing. That's why there's a third bar here. But for the piano, now right here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 beats per measure. 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 1, 2, 3. This is a rest. And though it's not a note, it still gets the amount of value that a quarter note gets. So this would stay true to the 4 beats per measure. Though you don't play anything on a rest, but it still fills in the amount it still fills in for a quarter note and a measure, so it's still 4 beats. So 1, 2, 3, 4. You don't play anything, but that's 4 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4. You don't play anything, but then you move on to the next measure, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 beats per measure. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is a quarter rest, and there are also things such as eighth rests. See if I can find one in here. I may have to. I'll have to look around for an eighth rest, but it kind of looks like the. It kind of looks like the. This right here, a little bit like this, the F symbol or the bass clef sign. Okay, so this is the last line. So we have 1, 2. Like I said, this is equal to a quarter note. It's just distributed. So we have the dotted eighth. The bar is on the bottom this time. Doesn't really make any difference. You may be asking why. Well, sometimes sometimes if the bar's on the bottom, it usually means that the left hand is going to play the notes. But in this case, not, because the 2 notes are together, and these are played with the right hand. So we have 1, 2, and so this is a quarter note, right? Well, this is equal to a quarter note value. Quarter note, quarter note, quarter note, quarter note, quarter note, quarter note. So we have right here. Oop. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 beats per measure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 beats per measure. And right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 beats per measure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 beats per measure. Now, if we're gonna, when playing these, we have to determine like what flats or sharps are going to be in the song. Right here, we can see that there are going to be 2 flats in the song. We have the E flat, this one right here is the E flat, and the B flat. So this is a B flat, this is an E flat, because this is a B and this is an E. So like pretty much wherever you find a B or an E, those are where the flats are, which is as I said, which is a half step backwards. A half step of B is the black note. A half step of E is the black note, which is right behind the white note of E, and the half step of B is the black note behind B. Now you'll see that once you get on a keyboard, you'll see that whenever you come across like it says like a B flat or an E flat, you'll just remember like that it's a half step backwards, and then you just have to move back, not a whole step, because that would mean going back the whole step and onto the next note. A half step is just the black key. It's not always that case. If it's C flat, then that would mean a B, because there's no dark note in between. Same with F. If it's F flat, it would be E, because there's no black note in between. Or E sharp, that's a half step in front or forward. There, E sharp would be F, because there's no black note in between. Or B sharp would be C, because there's no black note in between. Like I said, this is better to visualize if there's a piano. But just remember that like, if you look at it like a piece of music, whenever you see these, just remember that when you identifying the notes, that in order to play the notes correctly, you have to remember that this note right here is a B flat. So you have to press down on the black note, the half step from B, which is the black note behind B. Again with the E, this is an E flat because of that. So you have to press on the the black note behind E. And that's pretty much it. You have to go through the sheet music and just mark down where the B's are and the E's. Like right here, here's just an octave E, and this is in the bass clef, and it doesn't change anything. It just you just have to put write down like this is where the black note is, right behind the E. You're just gonna be playing it with 2 fingers. So yeah, this is the same. You'll just be holding down on the black note behind the E. So E, and the same. So here's B, 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 and yeah. So as we can see in this piece, there are a lot of places where we're going to identify as B flat and E flat. So the first thing that one has to do in learning a piece of music, among identifying what kind of notes there are, is knowing what kind of notes there are. So, and when I say that is you have to know like if there are sharps or flats, right here in the key signature, and you have to find whether or not, you have to find those notes so that, you don't hit the wrong notes as you're playing through the piece of music. So, once you find them out, this is E and B. So just go through the sheet music, and then find all the E's and all the B's, and just label them so you know where they are, and so you can play them as you go through the sheet music. I hope this has helped. This is difficult. It takes a lot of time to learn rhythm. But this is why I'll just go over it real quick. So this is a quarter note. Um, it's given more time than the eighth note, and the eighth note is given half as much time. So we have the eighth note right here, and the eighth note has a dotted, so it's going to be given one more beat than regularly. A 16th note is given less time than an eighth note, just by half. It's pretty much division. So quarter note, half of a quarter note is an eighth note. Half of an eighth note is a 16th note. And then a half of a 16th is a 32nd, and a half of a 32nd is a 64th. But we haven't reached those notes yet. But it's pretty much that. So as you go through the piece, you'll find that as notes like these, as the bars like increase, they get held for less time. So since this is a 16th note, it gets held for less time because there's a bar there. If there's a 32nd, which means there's a third bar here, it gets held for even less than that. So yeah, this is pretty much all I have for you all today. I wanted to review what I had gone over before because, like I said, this is tricky. Again, this is the tempo. If you have a metronome, set it to 94, and you'll be able to go through the piece and find what the beat is of the song. So I hope you all enjoyed this. I know many of you are like really want to learn how to play the piano and get stuck on so many pieces, and I didn't really want to post videos of people performing because that's not really a productive way of learning how to piano. In order to learn how to play the piano, you have to start from the beginning and then help people determine like how to get there. So I hope this has been helpful. If it's not coming across clearly well enough, please tell me what I can do to inform you guys better. I do want to help you guys a lot. So that was Informatica, and I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you on the next video.